We have been researching coffee and like our different countries that we decided to do, and we also chose a different style of coffee. Like I chose Turkish coffee, he chose cold brew, and so we started off with beans from our country, and we roasted them up.
When you roast it, you put it on a hot plate outside, and you have to keep it constantly moving so that they don't get burnt and it cooks evenly. And the Maillard reaction happens, which is a browning effect that brings out the oils in the coffee and makes them taste better.
So this is my project. I was in a group of 4 people. I was in charge of creating the frame and like the outside. It was cut into like 4 different types of like jobs. One of them was like the stringing of the sine wave or the wave, and then also the motor and like wiring it and like cutting these on the CNC cutter. And so yeah, I was in charge of creating the frame, the cantilever, and like bolting it up. We cut these on the bandsaw, and we also used a 3D printer to cut the eyes on this. Because as you can see, it's like moving like this, and if you pull it out, it looks like a sine wave like this. But we try to be creative and make it into a circle. So it was learning about like how this incorporates math. That was interesting.
For the humanities part of this semester, we reached out to organizations and pretty much worked for them. And I worked for the Legal Aid and Society of San Diego. And pretty much what their mission was to provide legal access to low-income residents for civil cases. We created a primer for teachers that also want to teach students about legal aid. We created a primer for students to like pretty much educate themselves and use that guideline to teach their students.
My summary of the project was we used different techniques and skills in VR to create an emotion or a feeling. My emotion was technically advanced, and I used phones, Game Boys, radios, and all the things like that into like fish tanks to convey how far we've traveled. And I really liked this project. It was fun to do, and it taught me a lot about Photoshop.
So in our project, we researched our neighborhoods, and we found an image, and we traced it using Adobe Illustrator, and then we used a laser cutter, and we cut out to make a light box.
Did you know that Del Cerro was developed in 1950s as a residential suburb, mainly with single-story houses, and most of them still remain today?
For our chemistry class, for this project, we did our project about soap. This is because our skin, because soap is very important to maintain our skin. To make soap, most people, from amateurs to full-scale retailers, use potassium hydroxide, which is also known as lye. Though there are actually many different kinds of lye, though we use potassium hydroxide for its benefits of how well it works.